Hey everyone, Mariah here. There has been a lot of speculation that these mortgage forbearance plans are going to be the end of it all. Many people are concerned that with so many homeowners slipping behind on their mortgages, that pretty soon the other shoe is going to drop and the entire country will be devastated by a tidal wave of foreclosures. Do you guys remember at the beginning of the pandemic when these forbearance plans were introduced? If not, these forbearance plans allow homeowners to stay in their homes without making mortgage payments for a given amount of time. Usually like 6 months or so. The idea was to keep homeowners in their homes in the event that they were forced to quit work due to the pandemic. But the problem is at the end of their forbearance term, like 6 months, all the entire outstanding balance is now due. So hypothetically, if you have a $3,000 mortgage and you haven't paid for 6 months because you had a forbearance agreement with your bank, at the end of that 6 months, $18,000 is due all at once. But if you weren't making your mortgage payment because you had no income because you lost your job, what are the chances that you have $18,000 just lying around? And that's exactly why so many people are concerned about the unintended consequences of this program once things start wrapping up. Honestly, I completely understand the concern. Right now, there's about 2.7 million homeowners who are currently on a forbearance plan. Granted, around 30% of them have remained current on their mortgages, but that leaves 70% that haven't. So what can we expect in the coming months? Well, let's go back to that 2.7 million number of homeowners who are in forbearance right now. And remember that we have 140 million homes in America. So 2.7 million homeowners in forbearance is really less than 2% of all homeowners. In fact, the Mortgage Bankers Association, or the MBA, has been keeping track of these forbearance numbers, and they've been trending downward since the beginning of the year. They were also trending downward back in October of 2020, but they started to tick back up in December when a lot of states reinstated these strict lockdowns. So with a vaccine becoming available and what we hope to be the end of the pandemic on the horizon, we can expect these forbearance numbers to continue to decrease as homeowners start going back to work. So let's go back to the foreclosure issue. It's important to remember that foreclosure is based on two factors. First, a homeowner experiences some sort of economic shock which causes them to become delinquent or late on their payments. Okay, check, we've got that. But delinquency in and of itself does not result in foreclosure. It's the lack of sufficient equity that causes delinquency to become a foreclosure. So with enough equity, the homeowner has other options to avoid foreclosure. Back in 2006, which was the height of the market before the crash, the total national mortgage debt was about 3/4 or 75% of the GDP. Today, the mortgage debt is about 50% of the national GDP, which means homeowners have significantly more equity in their homes. With a greater cushion of equity, troubled homeowners have different options. They could get a HELOC or a home equity line of credit in order to keep paying their monthly payments until they get back on track. They could refinance their home and wrap in those outstanding balances, or they could sell their home and walk away with money in their pocket at the end of the day. So we could absolutely see a meaningful rise in listings as the forbearance program comes to an end if some homeowners decide to sell their home and maybe move into something more affordable. But if they regain income, they could also refinance and so their family can stay in that home. So what if all 2.7 million homeowners that are currently in forbearance all decide to sell right now? Maybe they're not all foreclosures, but that could still crash the home prices, right? Well, no, not really. First of all, let me clarify. There are 2.7 million homeowners who have talked to the bank and gotten forbearance plans in place. 30% of them are still current on their monthly payment, so only 1.89 million homeowners are actually delinquent on their mortgages right now. If you watched my last video, you'll remember we only have 1,080,000 homes on the market right now. And that's significantly less than we had at the beginning of last year. So do you want to take a guess at how many homes were for sale back in 2008? It was around 5 million homes for sale. Plus, we had another roughly million of shadow inventory, which were homes that were being built and would be on the market in the coming months. So in total, there was around 6 million listings in our inventory back in 2008. Coming back to today, in the worst possible scenario, we won't even speculate that because forbearance numbers are trending downward right now, maybe only 40% of homeowners are actually going to decide to sell. No, Let's go straight to the worst case scenario. Let's say every single one of those 1.89 million homeowners decide to sell at the same time. And we're gonna add that to the inventory that we have right now of 1,080,000. So we come to a total of 2.97 million homes on the market, which is less than half of what we had back in the crash of '08. On top of that, interest rates are also less than half of what they were back in '08. In '08, interest rates were around 6.6%. Today, they're around 2.8%. So that's saving 30% on mortgages. If you were to have bought a home worth $600,000 back in '06, before the crash, your monthly payment would have been around $3,000 a month. If you were to have bought a home for $600,000 today with the lower interest rates, your mortgage payment would be around $2,000. $1,000 less. Buyers today are literally saving thousands of dollars with these lower interest rates, which is exactly why demand is so strong. So what's the bottom line? The number of forbearances are decreasing, and homeowners across the country have significantly more equity than they did before the crash, which gives them options to pursue rather than foreclosure. With buyer demand growing increasingly stronger and our nationwide inventory virtually sold out, even if we do see a meaningful increase in the number of homes for sale, we have a huge backlog of buyers who's eager to purchase their homes. If you're thinking about selling this year and want to know more what that would look like, or if you have any questions about today's video, please feel free to reach out. I know many homeowners who would consider selling are hesitant to do so right now because they're not sure where they would go. Obviously, the low inventory affects homeowners as soon as they become home buyers, so that's going to be the topic of my next video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.